whole pipeline issue. The Conservatives are trying to push the Liberals to vote in favor of pipelines. The Liberals say they will not vote for a Conservative motion that is intended to divide the Liberal Party. Let's listen in a moment here to Poilievre.
Those same waters, but not when Canadians do it. Clearly an act by this government of economic self-harm, of discriminating against Canadians. Now, the Prime Minister suddenly claimed that he'd reversed himself. He signed an MOU. Now, to believe that he is actually committed to the MOU, you have to believe that he now says he was wrong about everything he wrote and that the Liberal government did in the preceding 10 years. That he was wrong about the emissions cap, wrong about the electricity regulations, wrong about shipping oil through a pipeline from Alberta to the Pacific, and wrong about the tanker ban. And he was wrong about all of those things, but you'd have to believe that he has accepted that wrong. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's give him a chance to come in the House of Commons and vote in favor of what he promised. So Conservatives brought forward a good faith motion just to make sure that Liberals meant what they said, to get them all in the House of Commons to vote on whether they want a pipeline to the Pacific and whether they're prepared to open up our waters to shipping energy overseas. Now, the Liberals went dead quiet. I expected them to enthusiastically applaud this gesture of goodwill. They went dead quiet over the weekend, telling reporters on background they had no idea how they were going to vote on their own MOU proposal for a pipeline and an adjustment to the oil tanker moratorium. I even used wording right out of the Prime Minister's MOU to make it easy for him. But it still wasn't easy enough. As we know with Liberals, they often start by making promises, and then they go to making excuses. So they've now been generating a whole lot of excuses about why they have to vote against the wording in their own MOU. Let's go through some of the excuses. That it didn't mention that they want to accompany the pipeline with a carbon capture project. They claimed that it didn't go far enough in spelling out Indigenous engagement and ownership. They claimed that it didn't clearly lay out the plan to engage with British Columbia. Now, forget for a second the obvious fact that if the Liberals are telling the truth when they say they support the whole MOU, then they should be prepared to vote for any part of the MOU. After all, it's their MOU. So that obvious contradiction aside, we know the Liberals have made these excuses. And so, Madam Speaker, I'm going to help brush away those excuses for them. We're going to amend our own motion in order to include the things that Liberals claim we left out. So we are going to amend the motion in favor so that it will support green lighting, carbon capture and storage, green lighting Indigenous ownership in the project, and engaging with British Columbia. And we are going to, in the spirit of good faith, if we are removing all the Liberal excuses, because we know what the Prime Minister's plan is. He wants to pretend that he supports a pipeline like the majority of Canadians just long enough to get through the next election, while he quietly whispers to his Keep It in the Ground caucus, "It will never happen. Don't worry. Just hang tight with me and be quiet. We'll kill it after the election." To make sure that he can't play that duplicitous game, we're going to give him this amendment. And I move the following amendment, Madam Speaker, that the motion be amended by inserting the word including that the motion be amended by inserting after the word including the word I, and by adding after the words Indigenous people the following. 2, green lighting the world's largest carbon capture, utilization and storage CCUS project for the purpose of making Alberta oil among the lowest carbon intensity produced barrels of oil in the world. 3, providing meaningful opportunity for Indigenous rights holders to participate in consultation processes and economic opportunities through Indigenous ownership, partnerships and benefits. 4, engaging with British Columbia immediately in a trilateral discussion on the pipeline project and during the potential development and construction of the bitumen pipeline referred to in the MOU, and to further the economic interests of BC related to their own projects of interest that involve the province of Alberta, including the interties and Canada working with BC and with Canada working with BC on other projects of national interest in their jurisdiction. Madam Speaker, this amendment is so moved, and it is seconded by the member for Regina Capel. Thank you.
Before I proceed, I'd like to, je vais donner la chance à l'honorable député de Jonquière de faire un rappel au règlement par rapport au bruit.
Jonquière wants to make a point of order. Listening to the amendment, I'm not sure what happened. There were some dubious sounds. I don't know if perhaps he may have some digestive problems, but it was so disturbing that interpretation had to stop.
L'amendement, mais effectivement, il y avait des...
Yes, there were indeed alarms going off.
Since the party leader is moving the amendment, I take it for granted that there is consent to accept the amendment. That the motion, Mr. Poilievre, seconded by Mr. Scheer, moves the following amendment: that the motion be amended by inserting after the word including the word one, and by adding after the words Indigenous peoples the following: 2. Greenlighting the world's largest carbon capture, utilization and storage, CCUS. Shall I dispense? Of course not.